65 Days of Horsemanship, day 263. So I've just got back from my last session for probably a week at least. I'm going to leave tonight to go spend the week with my nan. So I'm really, looking forward to seeing her. And today I really wanted to get some time in with the horses. And it was really good. I pushed myself mentally quite hard, and so I feel quite tired now. And I think it's like a real work in progress for me to focus on the positives of that and say to myself, wow, like you did so good, and be proud of myself for what I achieved and for the boundaries that I pushed today, and to really enjoy that rather than like really hyper focusing on the negatives. I had the most amazing session with Lawrence, really. I came in intending to work on the scratching pattern and film that for you guys, but that didn't really work out because I came to him and he didn't want to be scratched, which is great. I mean, I'm not complaining. So then I thought I would play maybe with the rocking. So I started rocking his hindquarters and rocking his forequarters. And pretty much straight away that was overwhelming for him, to the point that he felt like he needed to take some steps forward. And so I'm kind of there, I've tried again, I've come back around, I've gone for a walk, I've come back. And my gut is really telling me really what I knew from the first day that I came back from Elsa's, which, like, from that first session with him, really realizing, like, we've had a lot of time together, but from the freedom-based training perspective, it's been a lot of quantity. I'm not sure it's been very much quality. And I did do a deep dive on this before, and I'll link that below. But I think I really realized how little supportive leadership I'd really done with him and how unclear I had been about that. And realizing that if I'm going to expect him to look for curiosity when I'm playing with these like higher intensity support games, like the rocking and the stroking, the likelihood of him looking for curiosity as the answer before getting too overwhelmed is significantly lower, because he's never looked for curiosity as the answer before, because I've not trained that with my meditative practice of doing my walking. So I kind of I felt from the first day, I was like, okay, I thought to myself, no, I don't want to go back. I really don't want to go back. It's okay to put a little bit more pressure on. Things will get better. We'll get through it. And today I was really just comparing the difference between the way it felt with Lawrence, which is really heavy, versus the way that it felt with Acacio, where I felt like there was a focus change coming. Like, I knew there would be one, and I knew that I would be able to hold out for it. Like, even if it was a really long time. And Lawrence is a very different horse, so there's also that as well, like Lawrence is a very different horse from Acacio. Like, Acacio is like super hyper focused, but yeah, like realizing that, like, I just felt suddenly like it shouldn't be this hard, like that actually it would be a lot easier for both of us, and it wouldn't feel like so much like tension in the air if curiosity was just a little bit easier, a little bit more natural. So I decided to tame my wild and to say, okay, today we practice our meditative walking, supportive leadership. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I'm yawning so much. Supportive leadership into a focus change. And for the first time ever with Lawrence, I really committed to staying in that supportive leadership until I got a really clear focus change. Because I feel like working with the subtlety is really great, but I don't think that he is really learning that much. He's pretty good at like an eye flick or an ear flick to get me to come back into flow. We have played with that quite a lot. And now it's like, no, do you know what? Now it's time to ask for a little bit more. And actually, I want this like head up off the grass, being curious about something. And I know exactly how long it was because I filmed the whole thing. In 47 minutes, we had 3 focus changes. And it was hard, like, to just keep going and keep going and keep going and really commit myself to, like, even, like, when he would walk, that I wouldn't, like, where before I would have, like, got into flow there, I didn't, because I don't want him to be, like, I know what I want this, like, still clear focus change or category change. And yeah, so that was really important to me, and I got 3 of them and I felt good about it. And I think I really felt like, okay, I've got to go back, we've got to fix this, we've got to commit to the foundation and tame the wild and say, okay, until we have got enjoyment in the process of, you know, supportive leadership into a focus change, then there's no, you know, the walking practice, the walking by myself around him in supportive leadership, there's no point in going any further, because, like, we're not going to achieve things as easily otherwise. And, like, that's really the core piece. So that was good to work on that. It was exhausting, mentally exhausting. I went and I sat down with Mia and just took a minute. And then I brought her down and we did some good work today. Again, like, we did some good work. We did practice our sideways on the ground, sideways into walk and sideways into halt. And then I was able to do that a little bit at liberty. Found my limits there, discovered that we're not ready on the right, and that's okay. Had a little ride, thought about where I'm at, tried a little bit of trot, and yeah, really came up against an amount of stress that I did not feel happy with in her, and really feeling like I need to put these hours in at the walk. Like, I really got to get more hours just, like, in the saddle, just like repetitions. We just need more repetitions. And it is the same with Lawrence. And I think the reason that I find it so hard after the sessions is because I want to be this, like, robot where I can just, like, knowing that you need to do something like that, where you need to do, like, a bunch of repetitions of something. For me, knowing I need to do that and feeling able to do it are 2 very different things. And I really immediately, like, pounce on myself, like, because I don't feel like straight away today like I can commit 8 hours of my life to doing it right now, that's somehow a personal failing. And I don't know that that's really reasonable. And yeah, it's just about, like, taking that time pressure off myself. And really just allowing myself to be happy and to enjoy it and to enjoy the process and to be excited about it and turn it around, like, flip the coin over to the other side from, like, all this stress and pressure, and give myself the grace that I give the horses and say, okay, this is the plan. I want to put these hours in. I want to get there, you know? So yeah. So it's good. It was kind of challenging, definitely, with Mia, because I really wanted to be able to do more speed work with her, but it just feels like it doesn't fit to me to do the amount of ignoring that I would need to do of the stress that comes up in her to like make things happen, rather than working in walk on the things I know we need to walk on. And I think the answer is to really use the pressure of wanting to increase the amount of exercise she's having, which is it's a problem because she's getting round, because it's getting warmer, it's coming into springtime. And so really ideally she needs to be fitter and thinner, and ideally she would still be able to have ad lib food, because it really upsets her when she is restricted by her food, which is understandable, but it's really difficult because if we don't restrict her, she'll end up with laminitis for sure. And so we're kind of like stuck between a bit of a rock and a hard place, where like her physical needs and her mental needs really need to be in a balance. And for me, like, I want to put as little pressure as possible on and move as slow as possible, whilst also recognizing that this physical need is important as well. And having to accept for myself that she might not understand that, she might not be able to comprehend that, and I might have to suck up the fact that she's not necessarily gonna be happy all the time, is challenging. Because in freedom, she just do what she wants, which is what I like. You know, I like to work with much more freedom in my training. As much freedom as possible in my training, in fact, is probably the word I would use, the phrase I would use. And so, yeah, so that was, I think, good, maybe motivating. I think it's about turning my mindset around. And rather than saying that's really frustrating, I feel like I'm not going to be able to achieve XYZ, saying that's really motivating to get me out here, to get these hours in on the walking, to get her to the place where she could do like trotting and things like that without needing to be stressed. Because that's the goal anyway. That is my goal. And I just need to put the hours in. Like, I just need to put the hours in and the repetitions in. Like, there's no magic formula. There's no like thing that I'm gonna find that's gonna make it whoop just like that. Like, it's the hours. So yeah, so that's good. It was a good day. I feel actually better after this video, for sure. It was kind of tricky. It was challenging to feel like I wanted to post it, to make it, to film it, but yeah, I feel better. So that's good.